Hi guys, so we're going to talk about reflections on a plane today. So we have already done number one in class together, so that should be all set. But today we are going to talk about a different transformation. Like I said, it's going to be a reflection. Monday we talked about translations where we are sliding those trapezoids. Today we're going to do something a little different with the reflection, but we will still be using the patty paper and manipulating the patty paper to do these transformations, okay? So the next step is we have to verify our conjecture that we already made. So what you are going to do is take a piece of patty paper, and in the lower left-hand corner, you are going to trace your trapezoid, okay? So you're going to do that now, so make sure you have your ruler and your patty paper, and you're going to trace your trapezoid in the lower left-hand corner. It is important that you get it in the lower left-hand corner in order to complete today's activity. So please try to do that, or else it's not going to line up correctly. Okay, and remember that you always need to label your shapes or your trapezoid. Okay, we need to label our figure. It is important. So this is just A, B, C, and D because this is our original figure. This is not the second figure. So this is just A, B, C, and D. Okay, so it tells us to fold the patty paper along L1. So you're going to take your patty paper. I'm just going to put my marker down. And you are going to fold it along L1. So keep your trapezoid on top of there and fold your patty paper along L1. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay, so you should have your patty paper on top of your original, and now you are going to draw the trapezoid again. Now this is going to be our second figure, okay? So we are going to draw our trapezoid again, but this time we will, when we label, we will be using the prime marks because this is now the image. So we have A prime, D prime, C prime, and B prime. Okay. Now, I'm going to flip mine open so that you can see both my images. I'm just going to put the white paper underneath it. It might be a little easier to see. Okay, so you should see both my images now. And this is the original image, so this is known as the pre-image. And this is my reflected image, so this is known as the image. Okay, so we have those right there. So we're going to start going through these questions that are in the book. So it says, compare the pre-image and the image that you created. So what do you notice about the measures of the corresponding angles? So we did talk about angles earlier this week. So I want you kind of looking. What do you notice about these angles? So when you're comparing A prime to A, when you're comparing B prime to B, what are you noticing about that? What do you notice about the lengths? The lengths, remember, you all have a ruler, so you should be using your ruler to measure these lengths of these sides. So C and D, you're measuring those out, okay? When you're comparing A prime, B prime to C prime, D prime, what do you notice about that? And then, is your image congruent to the pre-image? Explain your reasoning. Remember, explain means in words, and you're explaining your reasoning, and you're using some of that math vocabulary that we've been talking about. The next part, it asks us to draw segments to connecting corresponding vertices of the pre-image to the image. So I am going to do that now. So I'm going to connect my A's, B, D, and C. Okay, so you should have those lines, and it looks three-dimensional now, okay? You should have those lines, and it looks three-dimensional. Once you finish the questions on the Edpuzzle, you can move on and try to do this along L2.